Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we all doing? Oh, that Capricorn new moon was really something, wasn't it? We are coming now into this time, to this moment, to this period, to this era of the great Aquarian shifting. Ooh, there is a lot moving through as the as the Capricorn new moon reached its peak. The sun let off massive flares, and we experienced in the days just following that new moon one of the largest geomagnetic storms in over 20 years. So if you have been feeling lit up and like your nervous system is getting jolted, there's good reason for that. There's this sense within me, and as we've been moving over in the blue flame portal and with my being in these energies of expansive flowing. So as the Capricorn new moon shifted through, and as we came into the 21st of January, the sun entered Aquarius. Now, at this same turning, at the same moment, Venus, which had already entered Aquarius, was coming into and moving through its exact conjunction with Pluto. And it's starting, Venus kind of leading the way into a stellium of energies that's entering Aquarius now. So we found Venus in the day before the new moon, that Capricorn new moon, shifting into Aquarius, coming into that 0 point of the dawning age. The sun following a day, 2 days later, about 36 hours or so. With Mercury joining the sun in its movement. So as the sun shifted into Aquarius, Mercury was conjunct the sun. By the time we get to the 24th of January, Mars will have joined the party. And this is the same day that the sun makes its exact conjunction with Pluto. Sun, Pluto. So we first had Venus, Pluto, as Mercury and the sun entered Aquarius. Then we have Mercury, Pluto. Then we have Sun, Pluto. As Mars is entering this sign. And then on the 28th, we'll have Mars, Pluto. And by the time we get to the new moon or the full moon on the 1st, we'll have a massive amount of energies in the sign of Aquarius. Part of this as well coincides with another massive shifting. If you haven't noticed already, in this update, we're really going to explore the dawning age and the massive opening that this is coinciding with. Some people are talking about it, and even I have been talking about it, as like the shifting of timelines, the splitting, the cosmic splitting, the evolutionary splitting, the shifting of tectonic plates, which was so strongly running as we move towards the end of that Capricornian season, as we shift into the Aquarian era. On the 26th, so the day before, in the hours just after the Taurus maiden moon, Neptune shifts into the 0 point of Aries. This is one of the big energies of 2026. And as this happens, Saturn is coming into those last couple of degrees of Pisces as well. By the time we get to the 17th, to the 15th of February, just as that ring of fire eclipse is about to occur, and we move into officially the year of the fire horse, we find Saturn moving into the 0 point of Aries. And all of this, while the sun is still in Aquarius, all this shifting and moving as we have all this energy in that sign of Aquarius. Okay? The conjunction between Saturn and Neptune is a culmination point. It is an energetic flashpoint of the dawning of the new era, of the new epoch. Now, we have been in the dawning of the age of Aquarius for some time now. We have been in the dawning of the age of Aquarius for some time now. And one of the ways that guidance indicated we could talk about where we are compared to where we've been in this dawning is using some photographic terminology, which is the blue hour and the golden hour. Now, if you're not familiar, we'll talk a little bit about it, okay? The blue hour occurs at twilight. It is just before the dawn or just after the dusk, the rising and the setting. And from a photographic perspective, the occurrence of it is when the sun is between 4 and 8 degrees below the horizon. So this can be a long period of time, depending on where you are, or a short period of time, depending on your distance from the equator. So what the blue hour provides, whether we're using it to take a photograph or we're working with that energy, and if you can feel how working with that twilight energy is liminal energy. It is, from a photographic sense, valued and prized for its effect of taking pictures of temples, of buildings, of landmarks like mountains that have light emerging from within them. The blue shift of our soul star, when it is between 4 and 8 degrees below the horizon, actually are the only rays that make it to our visual cortex, to lighting the world. So everything has this liminal, calm, serene, ethereal sort of energy. We observe that which is lit from within, and we can see it and feel it in a different way. Now, the dawning of the age of Aquarius that we have been in up to this point is that blue hour. We have been in the twilight, in the liminal phase of it. But the sun had not yet crested, had not come above the horizon as of yet. This great epochal shifting, this great timeline shifting, this opening up that we're experiencing now, and the conjunction between Neptune and Saturn, Pluto's journey into Aquarius, Uranus, as it gets ready at the beginning of February to turn around and start moving direct towards Gemini again. all of these shiftings, even as Chiron and the nodes are preparing to shift sign as well, are indicators of the dawning. Even that geomagnetic storm that came through the portal of the Capricorn new moon are energetic portals into this dawning, this golden dawning. And that brings me to the golden hour. So the golden hour, from a photographic cinematic perspective, is greatly prized. It is the time period from the moment that the sun just begins to peak, or kind of gets into that like 2 degrees distance from the horizon and just begins to peak. And until that moment when it is just above the horizon and the entire star is visible from our perspective. One of the reasons that this, excuse me, one of the reasons that this moment, this period of light is so highly valued and prized from a photographic cinematic perspective is because it enables us to perceive how everything is lit from within. So as we come into this golden dawning, as we come into this emerging of the soul star into the age of Aquarius, as we come into a stellium of Aquarian energy, as Neptune and Saturn prepare for their grand conjunction on the 20th of February, we are enabling new perceptions, that's Neptunian energy, to filter through, to become that foundation, that structure, that Saturnian energy, upon which we build the new, that 0 point of Aries where this conjunction is occurring, which is the beginning of the astrological wheel, which is the beginning, the moment of emergence into a new state of being. It's also known as the world axis point. That 0 degree of Aries is the axis mundi of the astrological wheel. It invites us to bring the ethereal, transcendent of Neptune into the structures and physicality of Saturn. We are connecting with that Dharma, with that ability to be our full self and interact with the world from that place of inner and outer knowing. This this Saturn-Neptune conjunction really begins same sign at that 0 degree of Aries on the 15th of February when Saturn shifts in to that 0 point. It will be running as as Saturn comes to overtake, to pass through Neptune on the 22nd, 23rd of February, comes through the center of Neptune and continues to now pave the way. Neptune carrying us in, that transcendent nature, carrying us into the new foundations, and then the foundational energy of Saturn paving the way as the sun shifts into Pisces, that of transcendence and the culmination point of the astrological wheel. By the time we get to the 3rd of March and the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, Saturn will have shifted out of the same degree of Neptune. And this Virgoan total lunar eclipse is a magical moment of stepping into truth wholly. We start to pave our own way. We feel the divine within us. We have moved through all restriction to this energy of our divinity. We walk that line of love and truth. This update comes through not to talk about a specific lunation, but to talk about that period of the golden dawning, which really begins now, even as you're watching this video on this 22nd day of January or beyond. But it is carrying us through Neptune's movement into the 0 of Aries. It is carrying us through the eclipse wormhole. And as we emerge on the other side again, we find ourselves stepping into new frontiers. Our job, this is Dharma, this is Saturn, our job in this is to be open to revelation about wounds that we're still carrying within us, to be open to transmutation of those wounds, to feel those places where we hold on to resentment or fear or longing for something that is not our truth because we were conditioned or should want those things. As we open our hearts wider and wider still to feel the truth of our purpose, of our individual and collective Dharma. Releasing ideas of judgment, that keep us locked up. As we open wider to the love of it all. Let me feel. Yes. Over at the Blue Flame Apothecary in the community space, which is the free, open to all space, we have brought out the Rose Dragons transmission and activation. Now, the Rose Dragons are that Kuan Yin, Hathar energy of unconditional love, detached service, empowered compassion. And this transmission and activation is going to be available to anyone who is called to journey it all the way through this portal of Saturn-Neptune conjunction. As we emerge on the other side of the eclipse wormhole, we will do so with a full-throated I am love. And as the fault line, as those tectonic plates shift and expand, and the distance between fear and love widens, we are holding the bridge until that moment where all who have been readied to cross are able to cross before the other one collapses. Now, as we were talking about the blue hour and the golden hour, the message that depending on where you are, they can last different lengths of time. This is true on an energetic level as well. So for some, that golden dawning may have already occurred. And the blue hour has shifted out of view. For others still, they're occurring in union with one another, feeling still that last turnings and churnings of the blue hour, even as the rays of golden light are beginning to emerge above the horizon. By the time we shift out of this eclipse wormhole and the Saturn-Neptunian conjunction, the sun will have breached the horizon. How long that golden hour lasts and the bridge stays open will also depend upon where we are, not our physical location on the earth, but rather our energetic experience of the happenings within this plane. Okay. The way I'm being asked to share this is that the movement of the blue flame, by which we mean the soul group of blue ray star seeds, those who are here to activate the next phase of love within this plane of being, is expanding and extending the experience of the blue hour to allow for as many souls as is possible to make the journey into the new. Some of us might feel this in our joints, especially in the hips, where we feel like we're kind of doing the splits as we're holding that energy. Something very important for you, if you are part of this collective, is to give yourself space and time for inner reflection and rest and recalibration. How you are personally and individually called to move through this transit, this time period, how much time you need to spend in meditation or dancing or communing with people, whatever your form of service is. Let it be. Let yourself be in it. We are moving through the final ticks of Saturn in Pisces, where we anchor and establish that capacity to create from flow state, so that as we move into the next field, we are creating consciously without resistance. You may find that you need to shake or spend more time in nature. You may need more showers or less showers, more baths. You may need more solo time. You may need to change your diet a bit. Trust yourself. That is part of this energy. Coming into greater trust. We've all been traveling that explorations in discernment over this past few years. And as we come more and more wholly into the truth of our being, the truth of our heart, and our capacity to know yes and hold that yes when it's yes, and to feel no and hold that no when it's no, is fundamental to the all of it all. This is detached service and empowered compassion, after all. Oh, in the days to come, I will, of course, bring through a transmission for that Leo full moon on the 1st of February. We'll have more to say and to share and to weave as we move through this powerful, powerful epoch turning, this movement of opening, of collective happening. And until then, so much and many loves to you, as always, in the always, from the dimensions of the all and beyond the beyond. And of course, comments, likes, subscribes, if that's what calls. And if the rose dragons are calling to you, there will be a link below.